All right, let's dive into Hermann Hesse's classic novel, Demian. This is one of those books that's all about that really difficult, sometimes pretty dark journey we all have to take, the one to figure out who we truly are. So, let's get into it.
So, let me get started by asking you a question. A question I think we've all felt at some point. And believe me, this exact feeling is what kicks off the entire story for our main character.
So who are we talking about? This is Emil Sinclair, and on the surface, he's got it made. He's from a good family, everything seems perfect. But inside, he feels totally cut off from them, like he's an outsider living in his own home.
We're going to follow Sinclair's life through 4 really crucial stages. It starts with his childhood, where he's torn between these two worlds. Then a pretty intense adolescence, a lonely stretch at boarding school, and it all culminates in the chaos of war, which is what really forces him to find himself.
Okay, so let's start at the very beginning. This is where Sinclair's whole internal conflict really starts to take shape, this feeling of being pulled between two completely different realities.
So Sinclair's world is basically split in two. On one side, you've got the light realm, his family, doing the right thing, everything's safe and orderly. But on the other side, you have the other realm. And that world is all about desire, darkness, and all the things you're not supposed to know. He feels like he should belong to the light, but he can't help but feel this pull toward the dark.
Now, up until this point, this struggle has been all in his head. Well, that's about to change in a big way. 2 people are about to walk into his life. One is going to drag him deeper into that dark realm, and the other is going to show him how to find his way through it.
So, in an effort to seem tough, to kind of fit in with that other realm, Sinclair tells a lie. It completely backfires. He gets tangled up with this local bully, Franz Kromer, who starts blackmailing him, taking his money, and basically making his life a nightmare.
And just when everything seems totally hopeless, this new kid shows up at school. Max Demian. This guy is different. He's incredibly smart, super charismatic, and he just seems to understand things on another level. He deals with the bully Kromer almost effortlessly, freeing Sinclair and becoming his friend and his mentor.
Meeting Demian is about so much more than just escaping a bully. This is the turning point. It's the moment Sinclair finally sets foot on what might be the hardest path of all, the one that leads inward, back to his true self.
Okay, so after that whole intense period, Sinclair gets sent off to boarding school. But without Demian there to guide him, he gets pretty lost in the wilderness of his own mind. At school, Sinclair is just crushingly lonely. He falls into this world of drinking and parties, and he really starts to spiral. But then, one day, he sees a girl in a park. He never even says a word to her, but in his mind, he names her Beatrice and turns her into this pure, perfect ideal. And strange as it sounds, it's this image he created that helps him pull himself back from the edge.
So now that he's on a better track, Sinclair is ready for the next level. He reconnects with Demian, and this is where he gets introduced to some much deeper, almost mystical ideas that are going to totally shape his future.
Demian tells him about this Gnostic deity called Abraxas. And Abraxas is a god who represents both good and evil, creation and destruction all at once. For Sinclair, this is a total game changer. It means he doesn't have to choose between the light realm and the other realm. He realizes that to be a whole person, you have to embrace every single part of yourself, the light and the dark.
And then he meets someone who is the living embodiment of this whole idea, Demian's mother, Frau Eva. To him, she's everything, a mother figure, a soulmate, almost like a goddess. She becomes his ultimate guiding star, the destination he's been searching for.
So all of these guides on the outside, Demian, Beatrice, Eva, they've all been preparing Sinclair for his final test, a test where he has to find strength not from other people, but from deep inside himself.
And then, suddenly, the world just explodes. World War I breaks out, and the life Sinclair knew is completely shattered. He and Demian both enlist, and all of this chaos on the outside forces his inner journey to its breaking point.
In the middle of a battle, Sinclair gets badly injured. And as he's lying there in a field hospital, hovering somewhere between life and death, the real world just kind of melts away. And that's when he has one last, completely transformative vision. In this vision, Demian appears to him one last time. He tells Sinclair that if he ever needs him again, all he has to do is look inside himself. And then he gives Sinclair a kiss from his mother, Eva. This is the moment it all comes together.
The guide and the ideal are now a part of him.
And that's really the beautiful end of the story. Sinclair wakes up, and when he looks in a mirror, he doesn't just see himself anymore, he also sees the face of his friend, his guide, Demian. He doesn't need a mentor on the outside anymore, because he has finally found the path within.
So as we wrap this up, the book really leaves us all with a question to think about. Who, or maybe what, has been the guide on your own journey? Who is your Demian?